Good morning again, everybody. I am going to do another demo. Today's demo is going to be how to use Google Maps Engine to create a custom Google map for your listing. You can create a Google map that shows where your listing is located, all the features of the area or neighborhood, including things like public parks, restaurants, schools. When you build this map, it'll be branded to you. It's a link that you generate that will help establish you as the local expert. So I've been playing around with this now for a couple of months. If you've accessed the Success website on the Contact Me page, the Success map of office locations is a custom Google map that I created. Okay, so I'm just going to do a relatively quick demo. After that, if you have questions, you can email me. I'm going to start with logging into Gmail. This is what it looks like. We're going to manage the creation of this map through your Google Drive account. So I am going to go over to my Apps button. I'm going to go over to Drive. Okay, so this is the easiest way to manage your maps, create maps, and then, again, find them. If you go in directly through the Maps engine, which I'm not going to show you, it can be a little bit confusing. So you can see that my Google Drive has many folders in it. The easiest way to manage your maps is to create a folder and generate a map from inside that folder. Then there's no doubt about where it lives, how to access it. So you can see that I already created a folder for my maps. If, when you access Google Drive, you don't know how to create a folder, I'll show you really quick. Make sure you're in the main drive. Click Create Folder. And then you can name the folder. I would name it Maps. But since I already created one, I'm not going to fully create this, obviously, but you just click Create. And then a folder will be added to your Google Drive. I'm just going to hit Cancel because I already have one. Okay, so once you've created your Maps folder, go ahead and click on it to open it up. And you can see there's the custom map that I already created for our real estate locations. And from here, you're going to create a new map. So since we're already inside of my drive, the folder Maps, I'm going to go ahead and click Create. And one of the options is Map. I'm going to click on Map. If this is the first time accessing this application, it may ask you to set up a few things. I don't remember if I had to do that, but usually just like any other Google app, time zone, stuff like that. All right, so it'll open up an untitled default map. If you can think of it like any other Google document, you're going to edit and add and rename and title just like a regular Google document, only we're going to create it as a map. So again, once you learn this, I'm sure there's a million different things that you could do with it, but I'm just going to show you from the listing perspective, and I'm actually going to use, I'll use an address that I'm familiar with. So the first thing that you want to do is search for your listing. So go ahead and put the listing address up there and hit search. Okay, so it finds it on the map with a marker. You click on the marker on the actual map, click Add to Map. Okay, you can see that the listing is added there. Here's your generic base map that we created. The first thing I'm going to do after I add the listing is I'm going to title the map. So I'm going to call it Living in Ocean Air, because this address is in a neighborhood called Ocean Air. And then you can give it a description. This map will tell you All right, obviously you can add any description you want for your map and any title you want. I'm going to hit save. All right, so now we've titled our map. We've added our listing address on the map. I'm also going to title this layer because I'm going to show you how to add different layers so that people who view the map can filter out different things in the map. So I'm going to title this layer. So anytime you want to title something, mouse over the dots next to it so it says layer options. I'm going to rename this layer. And I'm going to call it around the neighborhood. Obviously, you can do whatever you want. Around the neighborhood. Hit save. All right, so now we have a couple things on our custom map. We've titled it, we added our listing, we added one layer, which is a default layer, and we renamed it. So there's a couple other things that you can do at this point. If you mouse over the listing address here, you'll see a little paint bucket. If you wanted to change that pin marker color, you just click on it, and you can change it to whatever you want. So I'll just make it fuchsia for fun. Okay, and then you just X out, and you can change the marker color. So around the neighborhood, I'm going to go ahead and zoom into our map marker, the first one that we put in, zoom into our listing. And again, I'm just showing you techniques. From these techniques, you can probably come up with a million different things to do with this map maker. Okay, so here is our listing. It's across the street from the ocean, and our layer is called Around the Neighborhood. So one of the great things about this neighborhood is it has a private beach. So what I can do is add a map marker for the private beach. So up here, there's some tools for the map where you can customize it, and one of them is add a marker. So if you click on add a marker, you'll see that your cursor turns into a plus symbol. And I know, just because I'm familiar with the neighborhood, that this is actually the access to the beach. Actually, is that not the access? Oh, we'll pretend it is. Okay. Let's see. Access to the beach. That's right here. Access to the beach is right here. So I'm going to click on the map at that point, and it's going to say, all right, you're adding a point. What do you want to call it? I'm going to do private beach access. And you can add a description. Be the local expert. This neighborhood has its own private beach. Obviously, put whatever you want there. Hit save. So it added it to this around the neighborhood layer. I'm going to change the point marker icon to be, I don't know, something sunny because it's the beach. There you go. You can also change the shapes of the map marker icon. Change it to a star. It's kind of special. And I'm just going to X out. All right, so in this layer, there's private beach access. Here's the listing. Let's add one more marker. We'll add the entrance to the neighborhood, just so people know where this is located, how they can get into the neighborhood. It may be obvious, it may not be. All right, so I'm going to add a marker there, and I'm going to call it entrance to. Okay, so that's an example of being the expert on that neighborhood inside the map that you're creating. So there's the entrance. I'm going to again change the color just so we can visually identify everything. All right. So you can see up here it says all changes saved in Drive. So any change you make to your custom map is automatically saved. All right, so there's another couple things that you can do with your layer. There's layer options, and you can go ahead and play around with this. You can change the way your layer works. You can change the way your icons work. So if you click on individual styles, it'll say, what do you want this layer to look like? And you can play with sequence of colors and letters. I'll just show you what that looks like. So it'll label everything within the layer with letters. You can set the label defaults, whatever you want to do. It's kind of fun. You can play with it however you want. So I'll just leave it like that. But if you change this option here and change some of these options here, you will see how you can play with those layers. All right, so I'm going to add another layer. I'm going to add a layer of things to do around this neighborhood. So if I go ahead and add a layer, there it is. It's an untitled layer. I'm going to rename it. Rename this layer Beaches and Parks. If you live in this area, that's important to you. All right, so now from here, we can add some of the public access beaches and parks outside of the neighborhood. I'm going to add a really popular one for this area, Ellisville Harbor State Park. I'm going to add it to my beaches and parks layer. Because I'm on this layer, I clicked on this layer, it's already going to add it to this layer. So if you were clicked on anything in this layer, it would add it to around the neighborhood layer. If you're clicked on this layer, it'll add it to the beaches and parks layer. So if I go ahead and click Add to Map, you'll see it's right there. And I'll change the map marker so we can identify it. Change it to something blue. There we go. And again, you can change the icon. So let's say you wanted to do all your beaches and parks in a circular icon, or maybe a diamond, right? Because that's what they do when they ski. All right, so there is Ellisville Harbor State Park. Another popular one for the area is Bartlett Pond. So I'm searching for it in the search bar. I'm going to bring it up. All right, there's Bartlett Pond, another pretty popular public park. I'm going to go ahead and add it to my layer, add it to map, and there it is. I'm going to change some of the settings for the marker, change it to my diamond, and I'll make this one lime green. Okay, so you get the idea. So now you can see our custom map has some neighborhood information, and it has some area information on it. So this is Bartlett, and here's the actual neighborhood down here. So that's one use of adding layers. And when people view the map, they can filter the layers. So if they already know where the neighborhood is, they can turn off the neighborhood layer and only view beaches and parks. I'm going to add one more layer. I'm going to add restaurants, just for an example of other things that you can add to your custom map. I'm going to go ahead and add layer, because this would probably be important. This is kind of the boonies for this neighborhood. So somebody might be kind of skeptical about moving down here, but if you can show that there's, restaurants and things to do, again, you're the local expert. So here's my untitled layer. I'm going to name it Restaurants and Takeout. All right. So I'm going to search for some of the things in the area and add them to my layer. So this is a great Thai place in this area that probably nobody moving or relocating to this area would ever know about. I'm going to add it to my map. So I clicked on the marker. I'm going to add it to the map. There it is. Because I'm on this layer, it added to this layer. I'm going to change the icon. We'll change it to circle. And we'll make it pink. All right. So there's one restaurant and takeout place, and I'll add one more. British Beer Company. All right. This is all within this area. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the map. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to make it a circle, and I'm going to change the color. And we'll make it dark. All right. So at this point, there's a couple other things that you need to do. If you want to use this map to publish to the public, the first thing that you want to do is click on the share button. So these are the default settings for just this map. So if you don't change these settings and you attempt to share this map outside of your Google Drive, it'll be locked. So you can see by default, it's private. So for just this map, I'm going to change who has access. I'm going to make it public because I'm going to make this a public map. Obviously, be really careful with what you make public on your Google Drive. And who has access? Anyone, no sign-in required, can view the map. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. All right, done. So now, if you share the map, if you get the link for the map and email it, you can even embed it. It's going to be public, so everybody can see everything that you put on this map. There are a bunch of other features that you can play around with. I'm going to show you just super quickly before we actually share the map. And you, again, will have better ideas of what to use with it. Up here, you can draw a line, you can draw a shape, you can add driving directions. So for instance, maybe you would want to add another layer that says, major places to work. We have a hospital here, what is it? Beth Israel, used to be Jordan. Maybe you want to show the driving distance between the listing and Beth Israel. Or maybe you want to add directions to Plymouth Beach or whatever. You can go ahead and add directions to the map. You can draw a line, add driving route. So right now, draw a line. I'll just show you quickly what it looks like. So you could draw a simple line, or you can actually make it a shape if you wanted to highlight an area inside of your map, something that you know is important to that map. You can name it. Give it a description. So maybe it's something unique like this is a recreation area that's really popular in the area, has baseball fields, it has batting cages, it has whatever. So you could add that in the description and hit save. Just remember that it's going to add it to whatever layer that you've actually clicked on. Obviously, I don't want to add it to this. And from here, you can actually edit it, take it right out. I'm going to take this one out because it's not super important, but you get the idea. You can also add, distances, measured distances. So let's see, for instance, maybe you want to measure, I don't know, how far Ellisville Harbor State Park is from the ocean, which is here. Bad example, but you get the idea. You can actually measure it so that people know they can actually hike to the beach from this area. And that will save. Oops. You have to click to end your measurement right there. There we go. And again, it's going to add it to whatever layer you're on. No, it didn't add it to the layer. Bad example. I guess it just adds a measurement. All right, so those are some of the fun things that you can do with Google Maps, customizing your own map. So once you've changed the share permissions to public, you've added everything that you wanted to add, you've named it, titled it, you can then, from this point, if you click next to the main menu here, there's a bunch of things that you can do. You can delete it, you can set the default view. So if the default view you want to be right over the listing, you can set that there. And you can embed it from here, and you can print it. If you print it, it's going to make a PDF of this map. I actually found that helpful. I used the PDF of the office locations to put in some of our literature. So you could use that for your listing presentation. Embed on my site is one of my favorite things. I also use that for our contact page. It'll actually give you the code to place right inside of your website page. So maybe if you're doing a blog post about this listing on your blog, you can take that code, put it in your blog post, and it's going to show your custom map. And if ever you want to find your map, you go back to Google Drive, and there it is, Living in Ocean Air, because I saved it in my Maps folder. That's one of the most important things that I actually had to learn. I went straight to the Maps engine application and was creating maps and customizing them, and it was automatically saving them, and I had no idea where it was saving them inside my drive. So make sure you create a folder for your maps first, so that you know when you click on that folder and then create map, you're going to know exactly where it is. Okay, so that is my quick demo for Google Maps, creating a custom Google Maps using the Maps engine. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to me and email me directly. I hope that was interesting and helpful. Have a good day.